What is going on, everyone? We are not in the usual set, and we have another person added today. This here is Hunter Thomas. Don't know if you know him.
How's it going?
He's pretty new here on the podcast, but welcome, Hunter.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, today I brought in the boss, brought in the big guns because we've got a super fun and interesting topic. We're going to talk about Innova, all things Innova, because I want to learn. These people want to learn. I want to uncover the secrets of Innova because I feel like there's so much I'm missing.
I don't know if I'm the best person to do this, but I'm excited to try.
I love it. So you have this huge stack of discs here.
I brought my Innova collection, or at least most of it. Some of it.
When did you first get into Innova?
When
Was that like your first disc?
Oh yeah, all my first discs were Innova. Well, in 2015, Innova was the dominating force in disc golf.
Okay.
They owned, at that point, I believe the stat I heard was like 70% of the market share of the disc golf
Oh, wow.
world at that point. The best players in the world were throwing Innova. The second strongest team in 2015, I would argue, was probably Prodigy.
Really?
I think 2015 still had a lot of players were on Innova, and there was a big like mass exodus to Prodigy. But yeah, I mean, 2012 through 2015, Paul was a very dominant factor. He was on Innova. 2015, Paul played one of the best seasons of all time.
Yeah,
using
it's like
Innova
when
discs.
he popped off, right?
Yeah, his worst finish was third place, I believe, that year. So everyone threw Innova. And then at that time, obviously, also Discmania was starting. Simon and Eagle were with Discmania, but Discmania was produced by Innova.
Yeah.
They were basically just the one big family. So a lot of, like, Paul was throwing the P2. Simon Eagle was throwing the Metal Flake Max and stuff like that. That goes on through, like, 2018.
Yeah.
So Innova was it.
I was looking at, I think it was, like, it's Joel Freeman. He still throws, like, old Discmania in the bag right now.
Yeah, it's not
like,
preferred,
what?
but I know there's even some Discmania pros still use like the old P2s and stuff like that because that's what people like.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I have some old Discmania if you want to start there.
Sure, yeah.
In my stack here. These are two of probably my most collectible discs in my Innova collection, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
So this one, some people might recognize, depending on when you got into disc golf, it was in Eagle's bag for a long time.
This disc.
Yeah, it was a D-line FD, this exact one. It was called Roly Poly Oly because of the character he drew on the back of it.
So he bagged this exact one.
Yeah, he gave it to me at the Australian Open in 2017. He said it got too flippy and he didn't want it anymore, and he gave it to me. I used it as my roller disc for a short period after that.
Oh, you bagged it?
Yeah, well, at that time, I didn't collect. I was like, screw collecting. Discs are meant to fly. And then I got scared to lose it because I didn't want to put any more ink on it. So I didn't want to put my name and number. And at that time, it was a semi-famous disc because of Eagles drawing on the back and stuff. And he'd done a few in the bags. And so I was like, if I lose it, I'm not getting it back.
Yeah.
So I retired it, put it on my shelf.
Smart.
But the D-Line FD back then was like the Discmania and even some Innova players' roller disc of choice. Which was just a DX FD.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks just like baseline plastic.
It's essentially, it's just the FD mold, and it's just DX plastic, which was Discmania's D-line.
Yeah.
So pretty much like a DX Leopard, essentially. But then on that same trip, UC, who was the founder of Discmania, gave me this, which is a C-line FD, first-run C-line FD. In his words, it was one of the first ones off the machines when they were getting made. This is like, if you're a diehard Discmania fan, you'll recognize this is a European team stamp.
Oh,
so the European team stamps. Yeah, the Europeans had a certain team stamp, and then I believe this might be the American team stamp. Don't quote me on that one, but yeah. So UC had this in his bag. He heard I loved the FD, took it out, and his only rule to me was that I could never sell it. He said he wanted me to throw it, or if I stopped throwing it, I had to keep it on my shelf. I was not allowed to sell it. So I threw it for a while. You actually see I inked it with my name and number.
Ooh.
Because it was in my bag for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite flying FD of all time. But again, around the same time I took this one out, I was like, one day I'm going to want to have these on my shelf.
Oh, for sure.
And I didn't want to lose it. So at the time I was playing a lot. Took them both out of the bag. But
will they ever go back in your bag?
No, they never will. They're actually hanging on the wall in the shop here. Mm-hmm. But the reason I brought them is because some of my other collectible stuff, like some CE plastic, I feel like Discmania C line will eventually have that same essence, or even Discmania D line, as CE plastic, because you'll never have Discmania made in Innova's plastic anymore.
Right.
So having a true C line FD or a true D line FD or a true S line PD2 and stuff like that, even the molds have changed from this Discmania to the new Discmania.
Right.
So as time wears on, it's similar. Like back in the day, you could just go buy a CE Valk or a CE Eagle or whatever. Those were just stock discs.
Yeah, it's like normal price.
But now you have to pay like at least like $30, but most of the time more than that because it's so collectible. I feel like that's kind of what old Discmania is going to eventually be like.
Yeah, but that's so wild to me. Like even just like CE plastic, you could buy it for regular disc plastic now, and it's selling for just a ton more. All right,
we're back.
All right, back in action.
So we were talking about CE and how it was originally. So I've picked up a few CE discs. I actually have one in my bag that I don't have over
You have that
here.
Firebird, right?
Yeah.
CE Firebird.
But I've got a few more CE discs here.
Oh, there you go.
These two are pretty similar runs of CE, but like, here's my hot take on it.
Yeah.
Really not even a hot take. I don't think CE is that good plastic. I think that basically Innova went away from CE to be able to get something more consistent going, because I've had 4 CE discs and they all feel different.
Well, I was going to say,
Very
I was
different.
reading something, and there's a lot of speculation on why CE they're not making it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, people are saying it was too durable.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, this is brand new. This one's definitely used.
They couldn't get the plastic.
So I've heard some rumors on the plastic
Someone said
end.
there was glass resin in the plastic.
That's possible. I know that stuff like that's been messed with. I've heard some rumors on the plastic end. And one of the rumors I heard is that Gateway has bought up now, since Innova stopped. Gateway's diamond plastic is CE plastic.
Really?
The same plastic. And while that sounds hard to believe, the more CE I felt, the more I'm like, I could see where someone would at least get to that conclusion. But I think what
this
it was...
does not feel like it.
No, so this one, that's what I'm saying.
It's
like
super waxy.
Feel all of them. They're all different.
Okay.
That's not waxy. And the one in my bag...
That one is waxy.
This one's very waxy. The one in my bag is completely different from either of these. And then you felt that CE Leopard that came in the other day.
Yeah.
Completely different from all those.
Yeah.
I think that it's more so they wanted a premium plastic that was consistent.
Because like the Leopard, for instance, that one was almost, it looked like Champ.
Well, what this feels like to me...
It was opaque.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What this seems like to me is similar to what we saw at Gateway, where they were mixing their own plastic. So they were getting in different polymers, and that's why each run is so different, is they were mixing their own.
Yeah, just human error.
Versus now Champion comes pre-mixed.
Yeah.
So it's always the same. That's what I'm
sense.
assuming, but CE discs are sick. I mean,
Yeah.
the old stamp I love. This Valk is brand new, hasn't been thrown. But you can see where this was just like $20 to pick up. Then this CE Firebird is the same type of CE Firebird as the one in my bag. The one in my bag, the stamp was worn off.
Oh, okay.
And then this one was signed by Nico, Eric McCabe, Will Shoestrick. I haven't been able to figure out who that signature is. I don't know who that one is. These three I recognized. But I bought it on eBay.
Wow.
So yeah, CE plastic's pretty sick. But it's also,
Just
I
varies so
think
much.
I think that what it is it's similar to like my generation Discmania throwers will always be like, oh, but the original C line MD3s or the original C line whatever was so much better, right? Whereas like as time goes on, the new C line might technically be better as plastic develops, but it's like we have this nostalgia. I think that's what is the hype around CE is the nostalgia of like people were able to buy it and throw it, and it has changed. There's nothing like it right now.
Right.
And so there is truth to that, but I think that I think Champion Plastic's better. With that being said, I still paid like $30 each for these. Maybe more. I don't even know. This one I think I paid $30 for. This one I think I paid $35 for 2 CE discs and then an 11-time Firebird.
Oh.
So
it just seems like like Champ is just a lot more consistent.
Champ's definitely more consistent.
At the end of the day.
No, at least from the CE, I felt these could all be like different eras of CE.
Yeah.
So it was like a slow progression.
That's true.
But the Champion Plastic is obviously very consistent, and the CE I felt has not been. But then like this is what the Sexton Firebird was based on, going down in my collection, is the 11-time Firebird, allegedly. there's a slight change to the mold from what I've heard from the 11 to 12 time. So this is just
Really?
an 11 time Firebird. It's a little less stable. And apparently,
because they wanted those really stable.
Yeah, well, at the time, when the Firebird came out, you have to remember there like the Eagles on the market and stuff like that. They needed something to step up.
Yeah.
Still what the Firebird was, but that's why the Sexton Firebird is slightly less stable. Mm-hmm. So I have my 2017 Sexton I threw, my brand new 2017 Sexton, and then the story I had heard
that's
was that
the 11 time, right?
Sexton walked in and said for his tour series he wanted an 11 time Firebird. That's the story I had heard. And then that's where the Sexton came from. Because if you've thrown a Sexton Firebird, you know they're less stable than a stock Firebird. Whether or not that's because of the mold or something else, I don't know. But 11-time Firebirds are always highly coveted. This one's definitely used, inked up by the person I bought it from, all of that. But I just wanted to get my hands on an 11-time Firebird.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just old champ. So
this is champ? Mm-hmm. Because like this, if you just look at it, you're like, oh, this could be CE.
Well, yeah. So, but what you're witnessing here and on the CE disc is the oils of the disc.
I was going to say, because it looks like that shiny, like just fingerprint magnet kind of plastic.
So that's what, as plastic ages, the oils slowly come out. You'll actually, it's really noticeable on Prodigy discs. That happens pretty quick on like 400 plastic. Some of the older 400. I can't speak to the new stuff. But what you can do is if it's a thrower you really like, you can rub oil on it and get it back, essentially.
So
because
it all
plastic's
just goes
porous. Away? Yeah, so I had a 400 PA4 in my bag, right, that was doing much worse than this was, but like basically just like really chalky stuff coming out.
Weird.
And I don't recommend this. I took olive oil on a cotton ball and just slowly rubbed across the disc and then let it sit.
Does it soak it up?
It soaked it up, and all of this like fingerprint type stuff went away, and it was back to basically what 400 felt like when I bought it.
Oh, is that legal?
Yeah, it's legal. Because you're not modifying the disc itself. It's same thing like dyeing's legal.
That's
stuff like
true.
That.
That's true.
But essentially, what you're witnessing here is that fingerprint type stuff is the oils over time
coming off of the disc.
Which that's why older discs become more and more brittle because they're losing that moisture in them.
That makes sense.
And then they shatter eventually.
Ah.
So the old wives' tale that Dave Feldberg says is not true is once a disc starts to smell like crayons, it's about to shatter. I heard that originally from Paul, and then Dave Feldberg said that's not true. So I don't know if you want to believe Feldberg or Paul, but
pick your poison.
Pick your poison. They both know a heck of a lot more than me about discs, and so I don't know. Because when Paul was showing me his collection, the video's actually on YouTube, I think, but he didn't show me his Innova. He had the putters that he won his first Worlds with, his 2012 putters, and they were starting to get real chalky, and they smelt just like a Crayola crayon, like identical. And then Paul was like, yeah, from what I've heard, that means they're about to shatter. Like they're just going to break.
Oils,
yeah, because like stuff's coming out of it, and it's just separating over time. So I don't know. I guess speaking of Paul, we can just go into some of my Paul collection, because this is stuff that I bought semi brand new. Because like I have some old AVRs and stuff that I bought on eBay as a collector, but a lot of this Paul stuff I bought brand new and just held on to it.
So did you collect? When did you buy this stuff? Like, is this brand new to you? Or have you collect some of this stuff over time?
So like the 2017 Sextons, that was kind of my strategy once I decided I did want to collect, is I would buy a disc and I'd buy one and throw one. So I'd buy two. One was to sit on the shelf, one was for me to throw.
I think a lot of people do that.
So that's like the Sexton. I have a 2017 that's still brand new, and I have a 2017 I threw the heck out of.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would buy three. I'd flip one to cover the cost of all three. Collect one, sell one. But the flipping market, it's hit or miss. It's very hot with Discraft, obviously, right now. But I don't flip anymore because once I have, obviously, a retail store. So I don't think it'd be ethical for me to flip a disc that I get at cost and then sell online. But this was actually from Paul. It was part of his collection. And it's for a raffle that, like, to raise money for a tournament.
Oh, okay.
I had a bunch more of these. So this is the one that's still left. I've just we've slowly done giveaways and stuff like that over time, and slowly done like raffles at tournaments and stuff. And this is one that just hasn't quite hit yet.
So what is that? Is that a rock?
So this is an interesting one that I don't know too much about, because from what I understand, this was the commemorative rock for 2015, and this is the commemorative rock for 2021. This one I bought myself.
Yeah.
And so This is the commemorative rock for when he won 2021 USDGC. They always do a commemorative rock. And so it's his putt for the win. And then this was his 2015 one. But from what the weird part is, this is a rock 3 in my hand. It doesn't feel like a champ rock by any means. But the bottom still just has an R. So I don't really know what I'm holding. I don't know if it...
So if it was a rock 3, it'd be like R3?
It should say R3. So I don't know if this is the era that they were creating the rock 3, and this was like a test one. Because 2015 is when I got into the sport. So the era of... No, because they have 2-time rock 3s. In 2015, he was a 4-time world champ. So that can't be it, but I don't know why. I know what a champ rock feels like. This feels like a rock 3 to me. It does have a slight dome, so it could just be a weird run of champ rocks, but it's a rock. So these two are the same. I'm missing, I don't own it yet, but I'm going to own it, his 2018 U.S. champ commemorative one. So then I'll have the full Paul collection.
That's sweet.
So I'm going to own that. I'm just going to buy it on eBay one of these days. But those are the rocks. And again, this one I don't technically own, so once I do a raffle, I'm going to make sure I replace it in my collection before I...
Oh, I see.
Because this is technically for a raffle, but right now it's still just on my shelf in my basement, waiting for us to do one.
Oh.
Because we done, I don't know if you saw, it's been actually less than a year ago. We did it for the Battle for Bedford. No, I gave it to the Paul and Beth Foundation for the Battle for Bedford. But they had a McPro Rock 3 that was in this like color shift, translucent, like chameleon type plastic. It was like a really pearly champ.
Okay, yeah.
And Innova did like a test run of those, decided not to run them anymore. Paul had 6 of them. They were apparently like the only 6 in existence. His brother sold one. He kept 1 or 2, and he gave us 1 to sell to raise money for a tournament.
Okay.
Similar thing. He just gave us a stack, and I've went through the stack. That one I gave to the Paul McBeth Foundation at the Battle for Bedford to do a raffle with. So that's probably what I'll end up doing with this one. Maybe this year's Battle for Bedford I'll put it up.
There you go.
But I'm going to replace it for my own collection before I do that.
Yeah.
Some other ones that I bought myself. This was like this one is still collectible.
I briefly saw that.
Yeah, so this is from...
What are we looking at?
So this is from Paul's collection, this one. So this one's been used by him, and then I threw it for a little bit. This one I bought and just never threw.
Okay.
But basically, before it was 2015 April Fool's Day, I believe is when it was. It might have been 2016 because he hadn't won Worlds yet. So 2016 April Fool's Day. The April Fool's joke that Innova did was that Paul had bought out Innova. And he renamed Innova as McBeth Disc Golf. And so to commemorate it as like the funny joke, they did a run of Star Destroyers and replaced their logo with McBeth Disc Golf. So it's just this is what a stock Star Destroyer looked like back then, but instead of saying Innova, it says McBeth Disc Golf. And so, yeah.
That's sick.
I don't know how collectible these are because it was just a one-time run. People don't super know what it is, but I think they're cool, so I kept them. This one I bought on April Fool's when it dropped, and then this one I got maybe last year, 2 years ago, just from Paul's collection.
It's just a Star Destroyer, though.
Yeah, it's just a stock Star Destroyer.
Just different stamp.
Just a different stamp. That's all they changed about it.
Oh,
and then this was a similar thing. I bought 2 for my putting putters in 2015 prior to Worlds. This is a 3-time McPro AVR. Shortly after this, they stopped putting the date on it. I have 2 more McPro AVRs. That's actually a lie. This is the only one they don't put the date on. I don't know why this McPro AVR doesn't have how many Worlds he won.
Is this AVR different than a regular AVR?
Just the plastic.
Okay.
So it's a classic AVR. So actually, right here. So this is the AVR that, this is a McPro AVR, essentially. That's what they originally based the stamp on.
Yeah.
Was this
very similar
AVR stamp. This is just a classic AVR, which is now a classic grid AVR. This is an old one as well. I don't know how old that is. I bought it on eBay. But it came with these 2. I wanted this one. Was the whole reason I bought it. But yeah, it's just a classic AVR in McPro plastic.
Okay.
So plastic's what's different. But you can still buy a classic grid AVR or even a stock AVR. But the classic grid AVR is the beadless, basically a McPro AVR.
Yeah.
And so then these are the 3 McPros I still have. This was actually given to me by one of our employees, Carson. He bought me 2 of them. I thought about putting with them again because I had Galactic McPros, but they got chewed up by a pit bull. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to keep it on the shelf. Then this one I bought And then this is one that I putted with for a long time and then retired and kept on the shelf because there's just another McPro stamp. And yeah, like I said, I don't know why this one doesn't have blank time world champ, because this one has 3-time and these galactic ones have 4-time. But if you buy a Nexus or Tour Series, for what they're called, AVR, we have some in the shop.
Yeah.
It's this exact disc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they kept them around. As far as I know, when I feel them, it's a Galactic McPro.
Yeah.
I think they were just so popular that Innova's like, we got to keep them around. So they just changed the name.
No, and they look sick too.
Yeah. I guess we'll keep going, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
This is just an old AVR, 1992 stock AVR. But, old Innova.
Is that the oldest disc in your collection?
I don't know how old some of the CE stuff is.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know like that CE Valk, how old that is, but it's the oldest dated disc.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
5 years before I was born. It's just whole reason I bought this. I bought it stock when this is an AVR 3 when the AVR 3 first came out, but it's because the Protostar stamp. This is what Innova stamps their prototypes with. Mm-hmm. And first run, this is a first run AVR 3, but they stamp it's like called the Protostar.
Yeah.
And Protostar destroyers were like crazy valuable, and I just wanted a disc with this stamp. Was it?
Oh. Okay.
So I bought 2. One was pink, one was yellow. I threw the pink one for years, and then I kept the yellow one just because I think it looks sick on the wall.
Oh yeah.
That stamp. And so I don't think the AVR 3 it's not a popular mold, so I don't think it's something where like this disc will ever be worth anything. Mm-hmm. Just me personally,
it just looks cool.
I like the stamp.
I respect that.
This Atlas was gifted to me for running a tournament. I don't know where the guy got it or what it is, but it's just a full color of Paul. I'm assuming 2015 Paul at USDGC, and then signed by Paul.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't know anything about it.
Print that on there.
Yeah,
like, it's a picture.
I don't know anything about the disc at all. I just know I haven't seen many out there, and it was given to me. I thought it was a cool gift. Kept it.
Sick.
Another one that was given to me was this rock. I think it's actually a Rock Plus or a Super Rock. But it was given to me by Dylan from Iceberg TV. Shout out to him. But he originally told me he thought it'd be a great flyer, but I've washed it off to get it to where I can even hold it because it's like a beeswax plastic. It's literally what it feels like. I don't know if that's literally what it is, but like in the sun, it gets sticky.
What is it? Is it supposed to?
Yeah,
be
I
like
feel
that?
it. It sucks. Like I don't know what they were doing with the plastic, but it's a really cool collector item.
That feels gross.
That stamp is just. If you ever see this Innova logo on a disc, you have a very old Innova disc, guaranteed. And so, because I think that's the CE stamp. That's what's on, this is just the old Innova logo. Mm-hmm. So, like, on CE plastic, that's the logo. So that's how when that CE Leopard came in, I saw that and I knew we had something. But yeah, so I don't know, it's just a really cool disc.
Old.
Like
you said, anything with that logo on it.
Yeah, I don't know how old, but old, and I really appreciate Iceberg giving it to me. I wish I could throw it, but if it gets hot at all, it basically feels like honey. Anything I didn't cover over here? Oh, this is...
What is that? Yeah, you had that in your like protective case for a while there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, just because I wanted to put a disc in there.
What is this thing?
I actually threw this for a little bit. It's just a destroyer, a Star Destroyer, but it was to commemorate Paul winning all 5 majors and completing the Grand Slam for the first time ever.
Oh.
Because this year there was 5 majors: the Aussie Open, Scandinavian Open, European Open, Worlds, and USDGC in 2015, and he won all 5. No one's done it since. I don't think anyone had done it before, and it was a year there was 5 majors. Which is like, there's not normally ever 5 majors.
Right.
The past several years, only been 3. So it's just a commemorative stamp for that. And yeah, I bought it. Most overstable destroyer I've ever thrown. And now it's just on my wall.
Oh, it looks cool.
I believe that's all of them.
Black on black.
I believe that's my whole thing.
That's all the Innova.
Yeah, that's all the old Innova I got.
Are you gonna end up?
Oh, I still have. So the only one that's not here is a 10-time KC Rock. It's in my bag.
Oh, that's right. Are you gonna collect more? What's
Absolutely.
your plans? What's your plans with the Innova?
No, I'll always collect more. I still want like a CE Eagle for sure. I want the 2018 and 2015. Paul USDGC wins.
that pack there. The
trio. I want more KC Pro stuff. They made KC Pro Whippets back in the day, I think. Eagles. And and obviously old KC Pro rocks. I definitely want a CE rock for sure. I want to get one that I can throw and then a CE rock just for the wall. But no, I'll always collect old Innova. Old Innova for me is what like this generation Discraft is to them.
Yes.
Where I got in, it's the first thing, all the discs I was learning, all the best pros in the world were all throwing Innova. It was what got me like hyped and excited about disc golf, which is exactly what Discraft is today.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the players. And so that's why like collectible Discraft, you know, I collected. I have a decent Discraft collection, but it doesn't get me as excited because like that's not what first got me in.
Yeah.
So collectible Innova is what gets me excited about stuff. And, you know, for an Innova collector, this is a very, very small kind of ugly collection because I collect a lot of modern era Innova, like some of these Star Destroyers.
Yeah.
True Innova collectors would have a lot more of like the CE, old Champ rocks, USDGC rocks, stuff like that. But I aspire to have those one day. I just don't.
One day, man. One day.
Yeah,
well,
it's expensive.
I got a little trivia for you.
All right, let's hear it.
You know, Innova fanboy over here. Do you know the first PDGA approved mold still in production?
Still in production.
Yeah.
It'd have to be, shoot. Because still in production.
Not the first mold.
No, still in production. I'm going to go with the Eagle.
No.
No,
You're
what
wrong.
is it?
Well, here's the thing. They had a old Eagle. That was their first ever PDGA approved. That's not in production still.
Because they remolded it.
So the first one was the Arrow.
But is that still in production?
I believe so.
Because I was about to answer the Arrow. I thought that was out of production.
Yeah, I was looking around. I believe it is.
I don't know, Silas.
I believe it is.
I'm good. I'm fact checking you on your own trivia game.
All right.
If I can't buy a DX Arrow, we've never had arrows in stock.
You can buy a DX Arrow.
Just like at a normal website.
Yeah. Just type it in.
I think you're right. Are you right? I could have swore the Arrow was out of. Yeah, it's gone. I could have swore the Arrow's out of production. It's gone. Innova Arrow out of production. I'm gonna Google that. I'm pretty sure it went out of production. So consider yourself stumped. Well, then what's the right answer? What's after the Arrow?
What's after the Arrow?
Because like the Eagle, I'll give you. They remolded it.
They redid the Eagle. I believe it was the what was
Is it like
what
the
was
XD? No, that's
No.
more recent.
It was the
Yeah, Arrow's out of production.
Dang.
Don't know when it went out of production, but it is gone.
It was the. I'm trying to remember what was on that. I just looked at the PDJ approved discs and was like, search by date. It was the. Man, it was a putter. Definitely a putter.
You just reversed it, approved
Almost
discs?
AVR. Yeah. There was something before the AVR.
Man, Whammo, what the frick?
Yeah, Whammo popped off. Whammo, and then I saw Lightning discs.
Innova Eagle old, and then Arrow AVR. AVR's next.
AVR is next.
It was the XD's after the AVR. Well, actually, the XD and the AVR were approved on the same day, January 1st, 1984.
Right. That was going to be my next question. What the year?
1984.
Okay, here's
Nailed
a little next one up. I don't know if you'll get. This is a
Was I closer with the Eagle and Arrow? Like, was that closer than you expected me to be, or did you expect me to get subbed already?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. I feel good about that.
What was the first? Not first. What disc has the skeleton of the rock bird on it?
Well, they ran that on a lot, but typically that was on the rock.
No, the skeleton of the rock bird.
Like the head and then the crossbones behind it. That stamp?
No.
The skeleton of the rock.
There's
The
a
crow?
skeleton.
Are you talking about the
Yeah,
crow?
it is the crow.
Okay.
It's the crow.
I thought you were talking about the rock head.
Oh, no.
Like there's a stamp called the rock head and it had like skull and crossbones and it's the head and then the X.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the DX Crow has it like
That's
eating
the stock
skulls.
stamp.
Yeah.
It was a little quiz, man. I feel like the crow is something that not.
Crow flies under the radar.
It does.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the rock kind of just overshadows the crow.
Yeah, I don't really know if I've met anyone that throws the crow.
No.
I haven't thrown the crow.
Next one. You should be able to get this. What was the first pro that signed with Innova?
The first pro that signed with Innova.
Yeah.
You're saying that like it's so easy.
Yeah.
Well, like, are you going to consider Harold Duvall a pro or no? He was a co-founder of Innova and he won the first Worlds. He's the first world champion ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And he was a co-founder of Innova.
Oh, snap.
So, like, if you count him,
Well, I'll count him then.
And I beat you at your
He
own
was.
game. So first pro, I mean, are we going Climo?
Yeah.
Climo was
That's
the
what I
first
had.
pro?
Yep,
Okay.
that's what I did. I didn't see
That's
this
fair.
dude
Well,
pop up
that's-
on anything.
Well, Harold Duvall, though, he was a co-founder. Dave Dunapace, Harold
Yes.
Duvall. Harold Duvall eventually, I believe, ran Innova East.
Okay.
He might still run Innova East.
Okay.
Dave Dunapace was a player back then, too.
Yeah.
That's how they obviously founded it. But Harold
Right.
Duvall, I'm pretty sure Innova just posted it recently and said he was the first world champion ever.
Dang.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Two. Another add-on to that. So we just covered King Climo.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'll give you a little leeway.
Mm-hmm.
His career earnings.
Career earnings?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Paul just beat him out semi-recently.
I did see that post.
So, and Paul beat him out prior to going to 400,000. So I'm going 350,000.
No.
You look so disappointed in me when I get him wrong.
I was.
What was it at?
433,000.
Oh shoot! So I was wrong.
Yeah.
Paul beat him after 400,000.
Yes.
Wow, 433.
433.
That's impressive.
And then last one. Who's the newest signed Innova player? Pro Innova player.
The newest
The newest right now.
and like not re-signed, like newest addition to the end of a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be Haley King.
Haley King.
Yeah,
You're
I was gonna say it's got to be.
You're right.
Yeah,
I didn't
the
know if that
majority-
would trip you up or.
Well,
or
the majority of the other
not.
players stayed around. Like on the
Yes.
MPO side, they didn't really get anyone new.
No.
So Haley King was the answer.
Yeah.
Nice. All right,
All
I feel
right.
like I knew a decent bit about Innova.
Oh, you did.
Either that or I just bullcrap my way through the segment, and I was wrong. I'm gonna Google Harold Duvall to make sure.
All right.
I'm pretty sure Harold Duvall was the first PGA World Champion. I don't know if it's better to search first.
Harold Duvall.
World Champion. Because his son is the first event date,
But
1982.
if he was the owner of Innova, then he's the owner of Innova. He's not sponsored by Innova.
Yeah, true. That's what I was saying. Like that's why I didn't know if you would
There's
count that.
there's a little gray area there, but I will count it.
All right, I'm going to go 1982. 1982 PDGA World Championship. 1982 is the first time Worlds was held, and
Okay.
Harold Duvall won it over none other than Dave Dunapace.
Really?
Yeah.
Little Innova squad up
Dave
there.
Dunapace and Joe Ursino came in second.
Wow.
Let's see if there's any other names that are still rocking in the sport on this
Yeah.
list. David Greenwell, I'm pretty sure that's the founder of Prodigy. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm pretty sure. Don Scarborough stands out for some reason to me, but I don't know why. Dan Stork Roddick, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm sure I'm scrolling past a lot of Hall of Famers.
Yeah, you're.
Tim Selinsky, I know the U.S. Masters was always Tim Selinsky's Masters. So he obviously did something. Yeah, the two founders of Innova went 1-2 at the first round of Worlds.
That's sick. They're just
And the TD was none other than Steady Ed, the founder of the sport. A lot of
the
history
one
there.
and only.
Steady Ed ran the tournament in Los Angeles, California, and Harold Duvall won by 4 strokes over Dave Dunapace.
Dave Dunapace. Crazy.
There's some history.
All right. Thank you for the history lesson.
Thanks
here,
for coming
Hunter.
on, thanks for letting me come on. I feel like I'm hosting the show because I'm in Griplock set.
Yeah, it's a little different.
If I was in Plastic Addict set, I feel a lot different. But I'm excited. I was excited to be on. Hopefully your audience likes me and brings me back.
We'll see, man.
That'd be
we'll
great.
see what the comments say.
I mean,
Hey.
I would love to keep going through my collection. I got other stuff.
All
So
right.
Maybe
You
we can
heard
do a
'em.
Discraft episode. I'll bring
Let's
my
do it.
Discraft collection.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked the video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you do that. And without further ado, we'll see you in the next one.